Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. Today I want to chat with you guys about my 5 very favorite thriller authors. Let's get started and talk about it. Okay, I was looking through my Libby app over the last several years looking at my favorite authors, and I will tell you my favorite thriller book, which I know I've told you, is 2 thriller books. I'm not putting as favorite authors because one of them, I've read his 3 books, but I only loved one of them, The Silent Patient by Alex McKinless. But he's not on the favorite author list because he's only written 3 books that I know of so far, and I only love the first one. And then Riley Sager, I've only read a few of his books, so I can't really say he's a favorite author, but I did love the book, The Only One Left. So those are my 2 favorite thriller books, but I can't say they're my favorite thriller authors because I don't feel like I've read enough. These 5 that I'm about to tell you, I've read a lot of their books. I'm going to say most all of their books that have been available to me, okay? And so I'm going to go over them so this way you guys know. And I was thinking about this, and I'll ask your feedback on this topic. You know, I read quite a few books, but a lot of the books I read are just merely mediocre. I kind of wanted, which means less videos obviously, to only really do videos on books that I really like, for the most part, okay? Because then that way you can find a really good book to read. I kind of don't like the idea of doing a book that's on a mediocre book, because there's a lot of mediocre books I read, but then maybe you guys might like those books that are mediocre, so I should maybe do the videos anyway, because you might love them, because we might think differently. Let me know if you guys want me to only do books that I really like. Want to hear from you. Okay, so on to the 5 favorite authors, okay? First one, and I know I've mentioned all these people before, I'm going to list them in the comments below. First one, Freda McFatim, and she wrote the Housemaid series and Never Lie. Those are some of my favorites, and I'll tell you briefly why each of these guys are my favorite, and they're overlapping why. First reason why she's one of my favorites is she gets your in. She doesn't have too many characters, and she always, not always, depending on the book. Some books I love, some books I like. There's a lot of really good twists and turns in her books and unexpected endings. I love unexpected endings, and I love twists and turns. That is one of my favorite things. If I was a thriller author, for me, I'm not saying all books would have this, but I'd want to have an ending with a cliffhanger and something very unexpected that people didn't see coming. And I'd love to have some twists and turns in there. That's me. But obviously I'm not an author, and I don't really have exceptional writing skills, okay? So I would say Freda McFatim because of her twists and her turns, and because she really keeps your interest. Next, and this person kind of reminds me a little bit of Freda McFatim, it is Daniel Hurst, okay? And he wrote several books. I've listened to his books and Freda's books, all of them, pretty much as audio. He wrote a book called The Wrong Woman. There's some books that I have right now that I'm waiting to be notified of. He's got several books, but some of them are not through the library, but I really find him interesting. He gets to the point, and I think his books are more, how would I put it, gentleman-like. They're not graphic at all. Like, I think I mentioned this on one of my videos that, you know, he doesn't get graphic about anything. And he'll say something like, you know, they were in a state of undress. So he doesn't have to go into all that. He has good taste, and I like that about him. He's from the UK, so I really like him. The next author that I really like, and he wrote The Wrong Woman. That was one of the books he wrote that I really liked, and I love it because it has revenge in it. I love any thriller that has revenge, okay? The next author, and I'm actually rereading one of these books now, and I'm going to say I would probably give these 2 books of hers, this first book, a 5-star. I should have added it to the 5-star. It's Liv Constantine, and she wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish, and I absolutely love it. I'm re-listening to it. I haven't listened to it in a few years, but I really like it a lot, and I'm going to do a book review on it, spoiler-free. And then there's a part 2 to that book, and they're really, really good, okay? And let me just say, there's some things you never saw coming in that book. I love books like that. The next author that I really love is Geneva Rose, She wrote The Perfect Marriage. Oh my gosh, that has some twists and turns you'd never see coming in that book too. And a lot of her books have all sorts of twists and turns, and it keeps your interest. And that's the thing I love about all these authors, is they start out really good and they stay consistently good all the way through. Twists, turns that you don't see coming, and you don't want to put the books down. Last but not least, Sher Lepina. I absolutely love her. I've read all her books. One of my favorite books of hers is The Couple Next Door. That's another excellent book right there. And her books are easy to understand. That's the thing about all of these authors. And let me know if you've read any of these authors and if you like any of them. But all of these authors are fun, interesting, entertaining. I don't feel any of them are really graphic. Like some of the thriller books I've read, and I want to mention this, are books that might kind of test you in terms of language, violence, you know, sensuality, that kind of thing. Might be a little much, might push your buttons a little bit, but I don't feel like any of these books are too over the top with any of that stuff. They're very, very entertaining, and I really enjoy them. As a matter of fact, you know how I know they're really good authors? You could look up an old book for any of these authors at the library, and most all of their books are on hold. That's because they're very popular authors and people really like them. So, if you read thrillers, I want to hear from you in the comments below. What are some of your favorite thrillers? That's all I have to say. Love you, appreciate you, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.